Okay, let's get a better look, a closer look. So I'm trying to make it as big as possible. So as you can see, you have the big black letters, which is the black letters are الرسم العثماني. So this is the original words copied from the Mushaf al-Siddiqi, copied from the Prophet ﷺ with those additional red dots. Who would like to try to interpret them or read them? So again, the way to do it is you need to start from actually having this ayah in your memory so you can start doing those comparisons. Go to a word that you recognize and try to look at the words before and after and put them together and try to compare it to your stockpile of ayat in your memory and see if you know this surah and ayah. So right now Wadia has is the only one with his hands up. So it's going to be you, brother Wadia. So تفضل, give it a try.
Okay, طيب. So I noticed this is an alif, the first one. So الكتاب والحكمة.
Okay, so yeah, notice how the kaf in al-kitab has a dot under it. How we don't see the dots of the tab, but we see a dot on top. And again, there's no alif. So remember, Abu al-Aswad al-Du'ali is only adding fathan, dhamma, kasra. He's not adding the alifs that were not included in the Mushaf Uthmani. And then notice the ba, how the dot is under the small head of the ba and not the extended body. The head is considered the ba and the extension is just that, it's an extension. So the true ba starts at this where the head touches the line. So where there's that basically almost 90-degree angle. So yes, al-kitabi, okay. And then what do you see here? You said wal-hikmah, right?
نعم.
Look how beautiful, it's so beautiful. Look at the ha, it has a kasra under. Al-hikmah, this seems like there's a dot under it. Now, in true reality, this dot is not under the kaf. There are two explanations I can come up with. This picture was taken through thick museum glass, and if there was any type of flash, there were reflections. That's number one. So it could be a reflection of a dot or something. Another thing that these parchments were written on both sides. See, look, you can see through the paper and see on the other side here, there's a la, right on top of the ba, right? A lam alif. You have other letters. So this could be the red marking coming through the other page. So it's not accurate. To see it in front of you is much better than to look through a picture that's not really, the camera isn't that great either. Now, so, and the meme, wal-hikmah, see that the kasra on the ta? Beautiful. Okay. Al-kitabi wal-hikmati.
Someone hinted it's from Surah Al-Baqarah, so an ayah popped up.
Okay, an ayah popped up. Okay, go ahead.
يعظكم به واتقوا الله.
أيوة. Yes.
يعظكم
Okay,
به.
let's go. Okay, so here is ya. See the fatha on the ya and the kasra under the ain. See the dot, ya'i, dhu. See that little dot after the dha? That's the dhamma. Ya'i, dhu. Notice that the dha has no dot for the letter dha. And the red dot after the dha, that's for the ya'i, dhu. Notice that the kaf has no dot, it and the meme, because it was obvious. So now we know they didn't use to dot everything. Notice the waw has no dot. A true Arab will know that a waw coming between two words must have a fatha. So putting a dot on top of a waw is insulting. Okay, and kun, also putting a dot after the kaf indicating a dhamma, is also an insult. It's obvious. A kaf followed by meme has a dhamma. Bihi, this is bihi instead of matalan, a different letter. Here, I don't know. I don't know how to defend myself here. So why is there no dot on top of the waw here versus one here? I'm sure there are reasons. Because possibly it could be interpreted as a different letter, maybe Allahu A'lam. But yeah, not every letter was dotted for tashkil. So يَعِظُكُمْ بِهِ وَاتَّقُوا Allah ha, see the fatha on top of the ha, wa la mu. Okay, so here notice the dot here. It's somewhat on top of the lam, but it's also after it. So the position of this dhamma, this red dot here, is interesting. Okay, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَاعْلَمُوا.
وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ.
أيوة. Notice the noon that we had noticed before in the previous scriptures. So the noon shape is still very different than our today noons, but it's recognizable. Once you know that this is a noon, you look for it everywhere. Notice how the alifs are what we would maybe today call a backward lam, but that's how the scripture was. So it's anna, Allah, see the fatha of the ha, bi kulli. So this is the kasra of the ba, and this is the kasra of the lam, and the kaf has no dhamma for it. Shay'in, so the sheen has a fatha, and notice the in for shay'in is followed by 2 circles under it. So that's the in, the I and the noon. So those 2 dots, one of them is a kasra, and the other one is for the pronounced noon, i.e. the tanween. And Ali, what's this? Mun, right? It comes after the meme and it's 2 dots. So it's the dhamma plus the noon sound. بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ. And here we have, what do we have?
وَإِذَا طَلَّقْتُمْ.
أيوة, وَإِذَا طَلَّقْتُمْ. نعم. So we have طَلَّقْتُمُ. We see there's a dhamma after the meme, and then the ayah goes to the next page. SubhanAllah.
Yes. Sheikh, then I have a question.
Yes.
For the wow that didn't have the dot, and then the second wow that had a dot, is it possible that the student, you know, with the process, you know, the speed, you know, he caught some of the letters and missed some?
I don't know. Because it's a human effort, and it's we don't know that there was a committee other than Abu al-Aswad al-Du'ali and his students. It could be a human error to either have the dot on the wow, or human error to have it void of the dot. Wallahu a'lam. Yeah, but it seems like, see now here, wa'ida, this wow is also doesn't have a dot. So a good question would be, why are some wows dotted with a fatha on it and others not? I don't know the answer.
Yeah, maybe he just, you know, when the sheikh was reciting, what was his name? Abu al-Aswad al-Du'ali, right? Now, when he was reciting, you know, he just put the fatha there because he heard the fatha, but he wasn't. Okay, fine.
SubhanAllah, it's something to think about. I don't know, and I haven't come across any scholarly work that talks about it in this detail. It's just most scholarly works just say, notice how some letters have a dot and some don't. Like they don't analyze why. It's possibly because they don't know the answer. Wallahu a'lam.
Like, or maybe there's nothing really behind it, nothing deep behind it.
Maybe it's just as you said. You know, they put the dots where they figured that it could cause confusion and left it out where they were pretty sure there's no confusion in leaving out a dot. A dot meaning a fatha or dhamma or kasra.
Okay.
I just want to point out my favorite word here. Is there anything that pops out that you really love how beautiful it is?
طَلَّقْتُمْ.
Okay, so that's your favorite. My favorite is shay'in. Look how cute it is. I think it's the most cute thing in the world. Like the sheen and then a little squiggly under. It's like so like just beautiful. I just find it extremely just marvelous. Okay, there's something else in this manuscript. What do you notice? What else is there here?
The circle.
The circle. The circle. So this circle indicates a ras ayah. And the ru'us al-ayah actually were not inserted or added basically. They could be either inserted in old manuscripts, so like kind of find an empty spot where an ayah should, ras ayah, and then they kind of forced some circles there, or a scribe writing it from scratch would, you know, make space for it. So it seems that there was space made for it, because if it was inserted, that wow and wa'idha would be at the beginning of the line. So it's clear that this was actually scribed at the time where the scribes would, or khattatin, would intentionally start adding symbols for the ras al-ayah. And the symbols with this intricacy came later, like 100 years later, after the time of Abu al-Aswad. So that actually helps us give a timeline for this. So although the khat is the khat that would be used in the early times of scribing the Mushaf. And the dotting system is the first tashkil system we have, having that beautifully intricate, look how it's kind of like, it's a design in and of itself. It's not just like a blob. It's a beautiful artistic design. That level started showing up around 150 Hijri, 200 Hijri. So that gives us a time where that about 200 years or 100 years after Hijrah, the system of Abu al-Aswad al-Du'ali was still being used, although there were other systems more advanced still being invented. It takes time for a new system to be widely spread. So inshallah, we'll talk more about it as we study manuscripts. I just want you to remember that the wide writing, this big, and this shape of the letters, and the Fatha Dhamma Kasra being represented by dots, being the first invented, it's very strange to see that with a beautifully artistic ayah head like this. It's kind of strange to have those two on one page. Okay, the next page I believe I have is writing it down for you. So again, I chose al-Khatt al-Kufi because it's the closest to actually matching some of this khat and exactly how you read it. I added the beginning of the ayah, وَاذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ, or the beginning of the sentence related to the ayah, وَاذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ وَمَا أَنزَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِنَ الْكِتَابِ وَالْحِكْمَةِ يَعِظُكُمْ بِهِ وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ. Then the رأس ayah, وَإِذَا طَلَّقْتُمُ النِّسَاءَ, and the next ayah starts. Okay, any question before we see another? I think we have another manuscript, yeah. Any question?